First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Rakakwadash. Yahweh is who this world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is who this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Ba'Hashem means in the name, Rakah means spirit, and Kodash means holy. And that's on the Paleo Hebrew. Also, to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Today's video, I'm gonna push it straight to the point. America is owned by Israel. Okay, and that's as simple as it gets. And the people that run the entire world are the J-ish, is what they call them. Is what they call themselves, is the J-ish. These are the people that run the entire world. Okay, and they're not actual Jews. They're imposters. And their true nationality is they go back to Esau, Edom. They are Edomites. They actually fulfill the prophecy of Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 5. Let's get that real quick. It says, "Therefore thus saith Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea," right? That's the Greek way of saying Edom, "which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their hearts, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey." Right? And that's what they're doing right now. They're fulfilling this prophecy. They're appointing his land into their possession with all the joy of their heart. And when you look at what they're doing in that land, they're doing all types of abominations and wickedness. And ultimately they don't belong there. Right? And as it says, the residue of the heathen, right? The other nations, because what you see happening right now, what's happening over there in the Holy Land. You got the Edomites and the so-called Arabs, Palestinians, fighting over a land that is not even theirs. Right? What the scripture that this actually fulfills is Amos chapter 7 and verse 17. It says, "Therefore thus saith Yahweh, thy wife shall be a harlot in the city, and thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword, and thy land shall be divided by a line, and thou shalt die in a polluted land, and Israel shall surely go into captivity forth of his land." Right? And that all happened, right? Exactly how it says. Right? The Israelite women today, so-called Negro women, right? So-called Latina, Native American, are all complete whores, as a collective. They're all harlots in the city, right? As we say today, right? They're for the streets, out here just being a bunch of literally prostitutes for free a lot of the times. For a little bit of food, a little movie night, they'll give up the box to any nigga. But it says, "And thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword, and thy land shall be divided by line." Okay, and that's what we're seeing. That was the prophecy, right? You go over there to the land, the Holy Land, Israel. You have Edomites right next to those Arabs, which are Ishmaelites, trying to divide that land by line, trying to say, "No, this is my portion." Okay, no, this is your portion, and they're fighting over a land that is not even theirs. So, now that I have that out the way, I wanted to bring up this picture because this shows you what's really going on. So, in this picture, we have a quote by Ariel Sharon, okay, which Ariel Sharon is the general and former prime minister of Israel. So, pretty much the top guy, or up there, he's up there. And he said in 2001, I want to tell you something very clear. Don't worry about American pressure on Israel. We, the Jewish people, control America, and the Americans know it." Right? And that's, hey, literally coming out the devil's mouth. They're letting you know that, hey, America is controlled by us. Right? And if America is controlled by the so-called Jewish, right, hey, who controls the entire world? America. So, vice versa, these people rule the entire world. It's actually prophesied that, okay, in Revelation chapter, I think it's 17, talks about how, Babylon, America, was going to rule over all the nations of the earth. This is Revelation chapter 17 and verse 18. It says, "And the woman," talking about that great whore, Babylon, "which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Right? So America is the dominant force in this world. Right? You can see it by how powerful the dollar is. Right? The dollar is the um, world currency. Okay, I'm pretty sure 51% of all currency circulating is U.S. dollars, if I remember correctly. Let's actually search that up. What percentage of currency is U.S. dollars worldwide? 59%. There you go. And hey, there's a saying by one of those Rothschilds, those Rockefellers, which pretty much says, "Give me control of the money, and I care not about the policy." Right. The phrase "give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws" is a quote often attributed to Mayer Amschel Rothschild, the founder of the Rothschild banking dynasty. It's important to note that while the quote is widely circulated, there is no definitive proof that Rothschild actually said it. The quote has been used in various contexts, including conspiracy theories about Jewish people and the Rothschild family controlling global finance. Right? And when you look at, where this is pulled from, The Economist, BBC, all, mainstream news outlets, which this right here is trying to save face. Right? This is them trying to, deny the truth because they've been found out. Right? These Edomites have been found out. Since the quote central idea is that controlling a nation's money supply gives significant power, potentially overshadowing the influence of lawmakers. In reality, monetary policy is typically managed by central banks like the Federal Reserve in the United States, which use various tools to control the money supply. Right? And they're just covering face because, simple. Right? As I searched up, 63 or 59% of the global currency is dollars. Right? And money holds power. And, who, is controlling the country that has that power? Here you go. So, I quoted real quickly how, all of this is news outlets. Now, I have a picture here of the group of people that own the most, news outlets and pretty much companies. So I think it was Kanye West that came out with this in 2023, and that's when he got canceled insanely hard. Right, he lost his Adidas deal, and overnight, from billionaire went down to millionaire. And the reason why is because he was coming out with this information about how the so-called Jewish, control the entire world. Okay, these Edomites. And he pulled out this chart right here, and he was showing you all these companies: Universal Pictures, 20th Century, ABC, CBS. You can keep going down, all the top companies, and he was showing you the president, CEO, founder, owner, vice president, and chairman. And at the bottom, he said, the green is white, blue is non-white, non-Jewish, and the red is Jewish. And look at how at pretty much every single company in the top positions, you got one of those people. Right? Look at how red it is. And that right there is proof of what I'm saying. And look at their names. Friedman. He just got those Jewish ass names. Friedman. Mark Zuckerberg is one. A lot of people don't know that. Wojcicki. Finkelberg. Schwartz. Rosenberg. Right? These are all those people. So, let's go ahead and get a scripture. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 45. It says, "Therefore, hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them." Right? This is talking about America, a future prophecy. It says that America is going to be drawn out by the least of the flock. Right? And the least of the flock is talking about Israel. Okay, these Jewish people. And it says, surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Right? So Israel is going to make their habitation and America's habitation desolate. And the way that's going to happen is what we're seeing right now. Okay, this World War III conflict. It all started with Israel, Hamas, escalated Israel, Palestine, escalated Israel, Lebanon, escalated Israel, Iran now. And guess who backs Iran? Russia. Guess who backs Israel? America. And that's how the least of the flock are going to draw America to that utter destruction. Verse 46. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. Right? And what's going to take Babylon is those nuclear missiles. And that's what's going to move the earth. Right? It's going to be a massive, massive earthquake. So, and we're starting to see that right now. Right? And that shows you, hey, Israel's got that power. Israel is going to bring World War III. Okay? It's going to drag America into it to fight against Russia, Iran, North Korea, China, okay, Japan, and all those other countries. Ultimately, all nations are going to turn on America and shoot missiles upon this place, according to Revelation chapter 17. So, one thing I want to bring up also is just insane. So, a lot of people don't know this, right? These are supposed to be the holy people, right? So, the rabbi who owns P-Hub, right, which is a site of just complete abominations, right? Because you're not supposed to be seeing, a woman that has you're not supposed to be seeing a woman of another man, right? Another man's woman, and that's what that website is full of, right? Full of all types of abominations. And who owns it? Solomon Friedman was ordained as an Orthodox rabbi, but his day job is a lawyer, and his passion is making this ethical. Right? And you can't make this ethical because that is literally adultery. That's literally lusting to the max. But the funniest part is this guy is a rabbi, right? And rabbis are supposed to be spiritual leaders within Orthodox Jewish communities who adhere to traditional interpretations of the law and practice, right? So this guy is supposed to be a leader of his community and showing how to be. And what does he do? What does he do? He literally made a company about this. And he says he's trying to make it ethical. So, that shows you these people are not the holy people at all. There's nothing righteous about this. And, it's actually prophecy. It's Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 10. It says, let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of Yahweh. Right? So, these people are the wicked of the earth, the Edomites. And it says that in the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly. Right? When you look at, what they're doing in the Holy Land right now, they're being unjust. They're being wicked. Right? And right now, they're being showed favor. The Lord has literally given them years to rule the earth. And what are they doing? Not learning righteousness. And dealing unjustly in the land of uprightness, doing wickedness in the Holy Land. And a perfect example of that is this right here. How every single year in Tel Aviv, right? Tel Aviv, you don't know where that's at. Israel, city in Israel. They have the biggest gay pride parade in the entire world. Tel Aviv Pride has become one of the biggest events of the year in Tel Aviv. Visitors from all over Israel and the world come out in full force to celebrate. The city lights up in color and energy, proving its reputation as the gay capital of the Middle East. Listen to that. The Holy Land today is called the gay capital of the Middle East. That's why Yahushua has to come back. Because wickedness is rampantly exceeding. Right? It's exceeding rampantly. It is fucking growing non-stop. And the only way to get rid of this is that fire. Right? Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't enough for these people. It wasn't a big enough example. So, the Lord's about to do it to the entire continent, essentially. North America. It says, and perhaps every one of the gay capitals of the world. Tel Aviv Gay Pride Week takes place every June with a surge of gay-friendly events held across the city, culminating on Friday with the famed Pride Parade. And I'm saying it right now. I'm going to come back June 13th, June 14th, and watch how the Lord has a massive event take place here, where all these people get judged, right? And I'm talking about some type of T attack, some type of, BOMB. Something's going to happen where these people just get absolutely murked. And it's going to be the Lord's will. Because this right here is wickedness to the next level. And, the craziest part, it says The festivities will continue with an exciting party bash that lasts until sunset just before the Sabbath. Right, so and they want to make sure that they're not doing this wickedness on the Sabbath. But outside the Sabbath, it's okay. Just insane, man. One more time. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of Yahweh. They're not being righteous in the Holy Land at all. So, hey, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully this is edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakak, Wadash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Shalom, see you like Shalom.